The East Lansing Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio will be posted to the township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Welcome. I'd like to call to order the 6/1/2026 meeting of the East Lampeter Township Board of Supervisors. My name is Ted Gallagher. I'm filling in for Mike Thornton tonight, who is absent. All other board members are present. At this time, if you join me in the pledge to flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. For any public comment, agenda items. We have the consent agenda. It is published for viewing by the public. We're not going to read through the entire consent agenda this evening. Any high-level items? We do have some bills to pay.
I would look to the chairman, the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. I see no old business, so we'll move directly on to new business. Is there anybody in attendance that's the Smucker family? We have for it. Don't state your name, please. And
I'm John Bode, with for the owner. No. So this is a stormwater management plan for the proposed farm market located at 10 Rockville Road. This property and this market with the subject recent update to the zoning to allow family farm markets. So for a market going to be building approximately 4,300 square feet with an attached greenhouse of about 3,700 square feet. And that would replace the market that's currently this will be set back 200 feet at least from the road and from the side property lines per your zoning. This is the process that was stormwater plant. It's a very small building. Running again for your ordinance. Some paving with some grass over the parking. Designated display area and things like that. Okay. We have requesting of conditional approval based on the engineer's letter.
Which would be the April 13th, and I'm going to give a response letter
And I believe resubmittal of plans, is that correct? So the board would consider a conditional approval based on the April 13th. Okay. Staging Miller Associates review drawing.
Which looks like.
Both waivers they gave a notice that recommend granting the waiver.
Issues in that are of concern for you or the applicant. Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
What is the relationship between Jesse Smucker and David and Sylvia Smucker?
Jesse is the son. He is running, kind of running the business at this point.
He's not the landowner.
He's not a landowner, but I believe he is going to become landowner very shortly.
Okay.
I believe it actually took effect within the last week.
Yeah.
If you will remember, the holding agreement that you approved at your last meeting was in both of their names, but the changeover was happening very soon after that.
All right, so here it is. On the plan here, it's David. Harold Jesse Smucker. Okay.
Any other questions?
Motion? I want to make one, if I'm looking at page 2 of 8. And it shows the existing with stone and the improvement will be removed. And then, but coming right back from that, based on the requirement, the new one meets that farm market setback, as you said. Is that right?
Yes.
And so, okay. I'm making sure. And then on this page 2 of 8, this match line, the actual house and rest of the family live behind where the farm market would be ahead of where it is, but back based on the setback requirements, the new requirement. Right. Okay, I've read the map right. Thank you. Mr. Chair, I would move approval of the Smucker management, farm market management plan for 2110 Rockville Road as recommended by David Miller Associates.
So conditional approval.
Conditional approval.
That is.
On April 13th, 2026. The letter received on April 2026.
Is there a second? Second, Mr. Rudd. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Look to see the project get built.
Thank you. Look forward to visiting. Yes.
Okay, next we have supervisor discussion items, the tow policy and false alarm fees. The ESC was not able to meet, last, I guess, May 21st. So we don't have any update on that at
That's
this time.
correct. And Chief Zerby will be reaching out to set up another meeting of the tow to move that.
Cost savings to reduce deficit spending, any updates on that?
Today, no savings for budget amendment in your action items.
Jared, I guess realizing we need to make these public, I would say it would be encouraging to request the East Lampeter Township team to come back as they prepare for the budget for the next fiscal year. With recommendations to approach us to become neutral, not surplus, not deficit in 3 years, with, say, a minimum of $500,000 in savings identified for the next budget year. Just tasking them to say, what can we come up with that in 3 years will be at balanced spending.
I like it. We start budget planning typically August, but
So
July.
of August, we'll set a date to have our first budget meeting and workshop, and that's high level. What does the board see in 2027? What are the big projects that township staff has coming up? And what are the large projects of the township that may need funding or bond issue?
And the motion and request or the thought, not a motion, but is, you know it better than we do. And I don't want to get into the weeds and say here, there, everywhere. I mean, I had a suggestion about lighting, but that's just observation, but you know better. But I think as a principle, we ought to say, what can we do to address this over the next 3 years and be appropriate and recognize that that's best served. And it's a combination of really two options: raise revenue, decrease expenses, or my favorite, doing both at the same time. And yet
Same favor.
you live within favor better than we do. So I look forward to knowing that our heart is, if we chew about $500,000 this coming year and keep it going, we can get to a point where it's balanced, hopefully.
I know I've spent some time going over the 2026 budget,
Yeah.
really diving into it. I'm sure you're going to as well.
Yeah.
So see what.
Yeah, I mean, but you live these things better than we do. And we want to encourage you, come back with your best ideas. And if you want to balance it sooner, I won't insist that you spend money.
So, Harry, you remember the email I sent about highlighting where the ARPA funds were spent?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. And our finance director is putting that report together for you.
Okay, and I'm just doing that for Robert and Michael, and to refresh my own, and were we plugging unintended expenses? I think that.
Partially.
Yeah, I think the
There was a new HVAC system
Yes.
put in. The HVAC system began to fail here at the township building, and a new HVAC system was put in. Hard numbers, I can't recall off the top of my head. $990,000 was put into the apparatus replacement fund because the board at the time had determined not to put funding in there for a period of time. And there was also funding for. Yep, now I can't remember, Roger.
that's right. If Kevin's preparing my
Yeah,
report,
yes.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That'll help us look back and see where ARPA funds and things like that were used. So if I recall, I was on the board when those numbers came through. So we spent those dollars responsibly.
Well, I don't have any edge to expenditures. I just think as a matter of principle, we need to be balanced at a minimum and surplus ideally.
Yeah.
But start with balance right now.
Thank you. Any other discussion on deficit savings? Good. Okay, traffic calming safety issues. Looks like we have some costs in here now. Karen, we'll go ahead.
Just to bring everyone back to speed, Enfield Drive was brought to our attention by residents of Enfield Drive and the speeding issues that they perceived on their roadway, as well as at high levels, excuse me. And so we did have the township police out there after your last meeting between May 11th and 15th. They did pull over and issue tickets or warnings to 3 individuals, one for texting while driving, one for an expired license, and one for actually speeding. Public Works Director Charlie Thomas has looked into the costs of putting in the temporary speed humps. Now, the township follows the state regulations on township roadways, and so we would need to put in the signage that goes with the speed humps. The speed humps, surprisingly, cost about $600. And they are in 6-foot lengths. The width of Enfield Drive is 20 feet, so we would need 3 in each location, and we would need them in 2 locations, approximately 500 feet apart. And then with the signage that goes in, there's, the U breakaway pole, and then the signage that goes with that. That's about $880. Now, I would suggest that the board consider hinging those signs so that they can be folded over when the speed humps are no longer there.
A temporary sign, that's a permanent sign.
Would be a permanent sign. Look, it can be taken out. It does take some time and effort by our public works staff, but it can be taken out. But if it's something that the board wishes to put on Enfield Drive for a temporary measure, that can happen too. And then the signs don't need to be hinged. PennDOT does not authorize the hinging of signs except at intersections where there are no generators available. Hinging of signs can happen, and that's stop signs, right? So that they can throw the stop sign up.
$600 per 6-foot section.
No, 600 for all of the sections that would be needed. So the total would be about $1,500. That's correct. That does not include the public works staff time.
Is there a PennDOT permit required, or what's required on that?
Our township roadway. The other thing that doesn't include is some way of filling the macadam in the winter, because there's going to be snow and water that gets down in there. And
Do you make a notch for the speed hump?
so it's actually a dowel that would go into the macadam to partially hold it there in place. And so we wouldn't want freeze thaw to affect the macadam negatively. So we would need some sort of plug or patch in those locations. So the board has multiple options here, right? The board can do nothing. The board can authorize township staff to purchase these and temporarily install them. And then we would do another, we'd throw up the signs again for the speed, and we'd see if there's a decrease in the number of vehicles that are utilizing Enfield, and if the speed decreases after a few months, right? And then, or you could say, we'll take this into consideration in the 2027 budget.
So this would only be temporary, so we'd be removing them in the winter and installing them in the spring and seeing if it makes a difference.
Right.
If it does, possibly going something permanent, is that what we're?
Well, that's up to the board to decide and the data to tell you in the future.
Different cost to go permanent.
No, I'm just, if this would be a yearly thing where we're removing every year, it's another
Well,
task we need to
Right.
accomplish, is that something?
my understanding is a permanent speed table would be a much more involved situation than just a temporary speed hump.
It would be.
And does this include the cost of hinging the signs? Okay, but the hinged sign that you spoke of allows it to be turned down when it's not present. How much would that additional cost be for hinging the sign? Okay. I think based on previous presentations from the residents, it would be appropriate for us to authorize the expenditure of this $1,500 to do a temporary speed hump, signage and speed humps on Enfield Drive.
Tara, is there a maximum speed limit where speed humps are not allowed? Is it anything over 35, anything posted over 35 miles an hour? Is it under 45? Is there a law?
I believe these are rated at 35.
I'm saying so what my biggest concern about this whole situation is that we're gonna open up a giant box and we're gonna have speed humps on every road in our township. Because they have it, why can't we have it? I mean, I feel for them. I live on a road that's very, very heavily traveled with people. I've got it, twice in my driveway, going into my own driveway. You can't put them on every road, and it's gonna happen. We're gonna get requests all the time. That's my biggest concern. Again, I feel they have 1,100 cars coming through their 25 house neighborhood every day, and I get that. I'm very concerned with what we're gonna open up here by allowing.
We can look at that. We did not look at that and whether or not, there's a absolute limit of where speed humps or tables need. That wasn't something that
I mean, overall, I'm in favor, but I just want to make the board aware that this could be a very real situation where we're going to get requests daily for speed humps on every part of our road. So,
And if I understand correctly, though, a good point. Mr. Chair, is they're only really eligible if the speed limit, posted speed limit is 35. Because I've never found a speed hump in a 45 or a 40 mile. Because there's almost, the speed that is set prevents, it isn't possible. You're not allowed to go, you can't go that speed and not damage your vehicle at that, anything over 35 miles an hour.
So would the board like to know what the maximum is, and then how many roadways within the township have that speed limit?
That was just more curiosity. I think, I know pretty much every neighbor that I have on Whitmer Road would be calling you for speed humps. And that's a very heavily used road by fire, police to get to Route 30 quickly. And if they have to slow down that much over a speed hump, it could, it will slow them down.
The good thing about this is it is a township road because we can't do anything with the state roads like Mount Sydney Road. There's chronic, in my 20+ years, we've heard complaints about Mount Sydney Road. But that's a state road, so I think what Tara suggested would be.
I'm open for a trial.
Yeah.
I got lots of data on this road already.
Yeah.
It might be nice to do a trial and let's see what it looks like afterwards. We don't have to make this permanent. And we can move these around if we need to, I'm sure, in the future, if traffic does calm down eventually. If people stop using that road because of the speed humps, we could always look at another location where we have issues.
So if we do, let's just say we approve this, is this for 1 year or is this for a set term?
That's up to the board.
Okay.
I think we should try it as a term and just see what kind of data we have.
Now, is there an advantage? When should it be installed? I guess pretty directly, but if it's a long lead time, then I would say hold off until next spring. Because we don't want to put it in and then we think about snow plows 6 weeks later.
Do we know how quick we can get this?
I don't know that answer.
I would say if it could be installed by July, I think we should approve it for a trial use and then measure that data immediately to see what it looks like. If there's less cars on that road, if they're actually slowing down.
So I'm hearing what you're saying, I believe, so let me make sure I'm hearing all of it. So if we can have them by July and get them installed, then we should move forward as township staff. If we can't, then we should wait until next year, 2027, to install them in April. But at this point, the board wishes to move forward with a temporary installation for at least what period of time?
When do they have to be pulled, by November or December? I would say let's give it a trial through the start of winter when they have to be removed, and then get as much data between now and then as we can, and then make a good decision if we want to put them back, or even get input from the residents if they're noticing a big difference in cars and traffic.
It'll also give us feedback if we have more complaints. If it doesn't work like we intended, then it could be feedback we could.
And all this time frame hinging on whether they can be installed by.
Yeah, even August, we still have, if we have 3 months of data, I think that could be enough to really let us know what's going on. I'd say by end of summer.
Those apartments are filling up as well.
Right.
That's just community more.
Yeah. You guys agree with that?
I think that's just, and I think the other thing, Tara, that was mentioned that would be helpful is just an appropriate timing. What other roads could this possibly be adapted to? Knowing that more than, I don't want an avalanche of requests for speed humps, but knowing that this particular one in this situation, being so close to Costco and Lowe's, the one block thing says this may address this issue, but as Mr. Gallagher has said, it could open up a request for everything. Like, I'd love to have the authority to issue speeding tickets on Creek Hill Road, but the police chief has said, no, I can't deputize you. probably wise, but I think if we could have some sense of where this may be possible or other issues of, maybe another request would be a different one, not in a motion, but to say, what other ways can we slow traffic down other than speed humps? You know, are there ways to cause people to slow down, you know?
But let's not hold up Enfield Drive while we're doing all
No,
this.
I'm saying we should proceed with this,
Correct.
but I'm not saying, but still gather some more data,
Yes.
but not, that is not, this action is not incumbent upon that data.
Is there a motion? Somebody wants to try to build with all this information?
I would move that we approve the installation of speed humps, temporary speed humps on Enfield Drive. Um, uh, with the estimated cost of $1,500 plus township public works labor costs and the adaption of the sign, um, flip sign, folded sign, and by no later than July of this year, if possible.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Second. I have a second from Mr. Rudd. Any discussion, further discussion? Any comments from public? Lifelong firefighter there. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Aye. Okay. We need to approve the retainer agreement with HRG, Herbert Roland and Grubit Incorporated as our secondary township engineer. And I believe you had mentioned there were some revisions made to the agreement.
There were revisions made to this agreement or from the original standpoint by the township solicitor after we received it. I believe we received it about 2 months ago, and those revisions have now been approved through HRG, our town, to the board for approval.
Make a motion that we approve the retainer agreement with HRG.
Is there a second?
Sorry.
I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Approval of the open space fair market value for 2026.
Your Director of Planning, Jacob Bowen, did the calculations with the 2026 assessments. Now, the fair market value per acre increased slightly. That is mostly due to the common level ratio increase from 25 to 26. It's about a $680 increase, $681. From $100,062 to $100,743 per acre. So as the board most of the board may remember, in August of 25, a new ordinance was adopted in the code for the township for park and rec fees and included this new calculation. So each year you'll have a fair market value to approve.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the new fair market value per acre for 2026. As noted by calculation by Jacob Bowen.
Second. Any discussion?
Just understanding, this is the price that is to be paid for any acquisition of any land by the township.
No, sir.
No.
This is the fair market value that is utilized in determining a park and rec fee for development projects.
Thank you. Okay, got it. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
All good.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, approval of the Whitmer Fire Protection Association. Assistance with the fire police, assistance for fire police at the Farm Family Days held on July 24th and July 25th, 2026 at 702, 740, and 782 Hartman Station Road.
So the event is coming to East Lampeter this year, and there's been a request from the event organizer to have Whitmer Fire Police assist in traffic for this event. They do anticipate there being about 200, or excuse me, 2,000 attendees on Friday and between 3,500 and 5,000 attendees on Saturday. That's of a size where our chief has also indicated he will be putting an additional officer on patrol for that, for Saturday, not for Friday, but for Saturday.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D, we have a resolution for a budget amendment, which we all love, for the online accounts for residents, online billing and phone payments through the current financial software provider. Barry, any update on that or background?
So at the beginning of the year, the board indicated that they truly wished, we were customer service friendly. And we get a lot of phone calls from residents and landowners stating the balance of their bills because they cannot log on and see their balance. They can't see their bills, they can't see their account. So this software is an add-on to our current financial software, which will allow all of those accounts to be seen by all of the landowners that pay a sewer, stormwater, street light, or any type of bill of that nature.
It'll handle. Let's do that.
So online payments as well, which we currently have some concerns about our online payments. And this will do it properly. And look, Municipay is great in its own aspect, but it's not directly connected with our finance software. And so there's extra steps that need to occur by staff in order to upload that information.
We can streamline, the better service we can provide, the better. So it's
And if I understand this, this will be a recurring expenditure. It's just not a one-time. It requires annual software payments in order to maintain the system.
That's correct.
Okay.
Will inform you that about 5,000 of these dollars are implementation costs. And so those would not be recurring.
is this prorated the year or is this going to start?
It's based on the year that we start it.
And it does say the total budget for this expenditure to $31,100, of which you say 5,000 of that amount would not likely be recurring
That's correct.
next budget year.
That's correct.
So you've already identified a $5,000 savings from the expenditure of 16,000. You're both done.
Municipay goes away,
It
Their fee.
would.
what's that fee?
So what would they get a fee when someone goes online?
Usage fee, I think, $2.
I don't recall it, like 2.9%.
So if my tax bill is $100, I'm paying $102.90. And the bill shows 100.
Right.
And then $2.90 goes to Municipay. So with Edmonds, that goes away.
There's still a fee,
Okay.
and it is a similar fee.
I would move the resolution making the supplemental appropriation for expenditures for this online billing for the fiscal year 2026.
Is there a second?
A second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item E. So we need to set a hearing date for the conditional use application for Keystone Custom Homes Devon Creek project.
Right, so the application was received on May 11th. And by the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, that does need to be heard within 60 days. That would be July 10th. We did work through a number of dates with the applicant, between the board and the applicant. We were working to find dates. The date that works the best is July 8th, beginning at 5:30 here at the Township Building.
That date.
They are good with that date, so is that your solicitor.
I would move that we said July 8th, 2026, beginning at 5:30 is the hearing date, the conditional use application from Keystone Custom Homes for the Devon Creek project.
Second, all those in favor? I'm sorry, is there any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Managers report.
Okay, so I'm pleased to announce that the construction of the Strasburg Pike to Oakview Trail has begun again, and that began the week of May 27th. They were milling out the portion of Oakview, South Oakview Road, where the trail will go in, and they were putting the trail on Greenland Drive. So if you happen to go in that area, you'll see that construction happening. I'd like to remind the board, these construction dollars were acquired through a grant through the county Smart Growth Transportation Funds in 2019, and we're putting it in place, putting it on the ground. And this project is implementation of the Route 30 streetscape.
Thank you.
Anything further from you, Tara? It's the only report.
At this point in time, thank you.
Any other public comment online or? Okay, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
All right.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?